Happy Kids TV.
The Holy Tales.
Today I'm going to tell you the story of John. John Nereus was the younger son of Zebedee and Salome, and the younger brother of James the elder, who was also a disciple of Jesus. John was one of the most beloved disciples of Jesus, and like his elder brother, he too was a fisherman. John lived with his family in Bethsaida and Capernaum and later in Jerusalem. He went around the world preaching his master's doctrines and also went and preached in the churches of Asia Minor. After John became a disciple to Jesus, he wrote the Gospels of John 1, John 2, John 3, and Revelations. Once, John was banished to the Isle of Patmos as a prisoner for preaching in the name of Jesus. Later, he was freed and he eventually died due to old age. John was not only a man of action, but he was also very ambitious and held no tolerance for unfair or selfish people. John was very close to another disciple named Peter, and they would often be sent together for ministry work. But it was John who always stood out and acted as the spokesperson of the band. As years went by, old age caught up with him, and he soon forgot all about his ambition. All he remembered was the Lord's command of love. John once wanted to take his own life by drinking poison from a chalice. But the Lord spared his life for all the good deeds he had done all his life. He finally died of natural causes, and the chalice with the snake became his apostolic symbol. That was the story of John.
To watch more videos, please subscribe.
The Holy Tales.
Well, today I'm going to tell you the story of Matthew. And he also had another name.
Another name?
Oh, yes. He was also called Levi.
That sounds interesting.
All right then, let's begin with the story. Matthew was the son of Alphaeus, and he lived in Capernaum, and his name meant a gift of God. The call of Matthew to the band of Jesus' disciples is of great importance. Matthew's other name was Levi, which was probably given by Jesus when he became a disciple. Matthew was a tax collector and a publican. He was engaged in public service work and gathered the taxes which the people paid. However, in those times, the Jews hated the tax gatherers because they believed that it was the right of the people to pay taxes as a tribute only to God. Paying it to someone else meant breaking of the law. The Jews hated the tax gatherers not only for this religious reason, but also because they were very unjust and unfair towards them. The Jews regarded these tax collectors nothing less than criminals. Matthew was one of them. Like every other tax collector, he would assess taxes for their people and also lend them money and charge high rates of interest from them. Yet, Jesus chose him from amongst all the hated men and made him one of his own. Being the master, he saw the potential in the tax collector of Capernaum. Matthew was different from all the other disciples of Jesus, who were mostly fishermen. He knew how to write, and with the power of the pen, he brought to the world the teaching of Jesus in the Hebrew language. The apostolic symbol of Matthew is 3 money bags, which help us to remember that he was a tax collector before Jesus called him.
That was quite an interesting story, Holly.
So it is because of Matthew that we began to know more about Jesus.
The Holy Tales.
Today's story is about Simon the Zealot.
Zealot? Who's a zealot?
Let's listen to the story and find out. The Zealots were one of the little-known followers of Jesus, who were also known as the Canaanites or Zealots. The Zealots also lived in Galilee, and Simon the Zealot was one of them. The Zealots were fanatical Jewish nationalists who completely disregarded the suffering and struggle involved for what they regarded as the purity of their faith. The Zealots had immense hatred for the Romans, and it was this hate that destroyed the city of Jerusalem. Josephus records that the Zealots were reckless people and were zealous in good practices. Not much personal information is known about Simon the Zealot, but from the background of the Zealots, one can understand that he was a fanatical nationalist. He had immense devotion to the law and bitter hatred for people who dared to compromise with Rome. Yet, Simon emerged as a man of faith. He gave up all his hatred for the faith he had in his master and the love he was willing to share with the fellow disciples, and especially Matthew, the Roman tax collector. There was a time when Simon the Zealot would have killed anyone in loyalty to Israel. He became a man who understood that God will accept no forced service. Simon the Zealot, too, died as a martyr, and his apostolic symbol is a fish lying on a Bible, which indicates that he was a fisherman who later became a fisher of men through preaching.
That was an interesting story indeed. To watch more videos, please subscribe.
Plants and trees. On the fourth day, God created the sun to shine in the day, the moon and stars to come out at night. One day, Moses went to Mount Horeb with his sheep. There, God appeared to him as a flame of fire in a bush. Since there was no room anywhere else, they decided to spend the night in a stable. Here, Mary had her baby, Jesus. She wrapped him in a blanket and put him to sleep.
He's got the whole